Hi Chris, how you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Good. I sure enjoyed your lesson today on figurative language.
It's something that I really enjoy teaching.
I can tell.
Yeah.
You're very enthusiastic.
Thank you.
I can see your theater background coming
Yeah.
out there. I really liked the way that you were engaging with the students and the way that you had everything color-coded so they could tell which type of figurative language went with which. I haven't seen that before. It's really neat.
Yeah. I found that a lot of them had the basic, not all of them, but they had an idea, but they were a little fuzzy on the specifics. And I find that color coding them helps to keep them straight. The difference between a metaphor and a simile and that type of thing, and then the purpose of it. Why does an author use figurative language? Or what is he trying to have the reader do?
It did seem to be effective.
Yeah.
So what was the goal or the purpose of this lesson?
Well, we're talking about literary devices, and figurative language is a really important one. It gets the reader to look at something in a new or a fresh way, in a surprising way, by comparing two unlike things and showing how they are the same. And they use it in poetry, authors do, they use it in prose, so it's a really wonderful way of painting a picture with words, and it's just something that the students need to know. It is part of the core curriculum.
So the goal for the core curriculum, that they know figurative language,
Yeah.
and then also because it's really important in their readings.
Oh yeah, and the writings.
And if that's in the
Absolutely,
readings also.
yeah. 'Cause we've touched a little bit on it before, but it just makes so much more sense when they're clear about it. They understand the why
Mm.
of it.
So which parts of the lesson today did you think went best?
Well, I like the way that we use the kinesthetic learning because it reinforces the ideas of the concepts of figurative language, and it shows how they're the same, how they're different, that type of thing. It kind of locks it in because the latest brain research was showing that if you'll do a physical movement that reinforces what you're trying to learn, it doubles the brain cells. And a lot of the students are kinesthetic learners, and so I think that was very helpful for them.
I agree, they seemed very engaged.
It's a fun thing to work on.
And kept their interest.
Yeah. Generally.
As much fun as you can. So were there any parts of the lesson that you felt maybe you wanted to improve on or didn't go as well as you wanted?
Well, I'd like maybe to be able to engage all of them, and I think maybe working in smaller groups, maybe. So if you have any suggestions on that, maybe how we could incorporate that.
Well, sometimes I've seen teachers, maybe you have your room set up, they've used the groups of 4. Is there a way you could work in maybe your groups that are already set up into
Yeah.
this lesson
Yeah,
or
that's
this type of
true.
lesson?
That's true, a pair share or a round robin or something like that. I like that, I forget. I forget to do it sometimes. We get wrapped up in the lesson and forget that working in smaller groups sometimes actually brings out more hands-on type learning engagement with all the students instead of just, you know, the eager beavers that always have their hands raised.
True. So you think that maybe if you incorporated pair shares or your quad groups,
Yeah,
that you would be able to engage more of the students?
I think I need to maybe incorporate that somehow. I'll have to think on that one. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
What do you think is something that could work for you for using the small groups?
Well, I think maybe, because they're mostly in groups of 3 or 4, have each one come up with one of the 4, simile, metaphor, personification, or hyperbole, and defend their answer, explain why it is what it is, what makes it this or that, and have them write it down, and then maybe have them decide which one they like the best, and that's the one that they would share with the class or something like that.
So you're saying each member of the group would come up with one,
With a type of figurative language, yeah.
with one of the types?
Yes.
And then the group as a whole would choose which one to present to the rest of us?
But I still want them, I want the individual accountability. So I think I would still have them write it down, you know, showing who did what, and then have that handed in, so I know that they're actually all. Plus, I could, you know, as I go around to the different tables, but you can't be everywhere at once, so, but still, to get an idea, and then have them, so that at the end, then they would hand in the written assignment, but that also that they would come to a consensus and just have their favorite, maybe not even the best, but their favorite one that they would share with the class. And then explain why it's a simile or why it's a metaphor, or what are the characteristics. Defend their answer.
That's important also, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's what I'm trying to do is to, so that this will transfer to other things as they're reading or writing, hopefully.
So you think that you can have them turn in the paper to make sure everyone's individually accountable? And as they're working, how are you going to make sure or evaluate whether or not they were all on task?
Well, other than, you know, just going around the room and listening, but you know, maybe that's something you could help me with.
So you think maybe on our next session that I could help you with evaluating whether the students are on
Yeah,
task or not?
because like I said, I can't be everywhere at once, and I think maybe another set of eyes would be helpful on that.
So do you think maybe for our next visit, if you planned an activity with some cooperative groups, and then I had maybe a seating chart,
Yeah, I can get you that.
then I could go around and mark
Yeah, because
which students were on task?
I would like to know also which students are answering the questions, because a lot of times it's the same ones. And when I'm in the middle of something like that, sometimes I'm just not aware. I kind of know, but I would like a tally of who is being called on, even who is raising their hand. I'd kind of like to know too the ratio of boys to girls. Am I calling on more than one than the other? But maybe something like that. I think it would be helpful for me.
So I
Good
could-
feedback.
I could tally for you which students are
Yeah.
raising their hands, which students are called on, and then we can look at the ratios of those.
Yeah, I would like that.
That sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah, I think that would be good for me.
All right, so next week, the same period?
Yeah,
that
I
work?
think that would be good because I think it would be good for the, we can tell from that. I don't want to start from scratch another, but yeah, let's keep this same class, and then yeah, give me a little time to kind of work it out, because I think what we're going to do is we'll also take the song of Marshmallow World and dissect it. Line by line, because there's a lot of figurative language in that, all different kinds, and I want them to decide, okay, what type is this and why, and then we'll put them in columns or something
Or
like
you'll
that.
incorporate something with your groups in that?
Yeah, I
also?
think we'll do that first as more guided practice. We'll do it together, and then I'll have them do the individual group work, the round robin or whatever like that. So give them a little more practice together, and then have them work in the
So
smaller
then,
groups.
in the direct instruction, I can tally the questions and
Yeah.
answers, and then I can
Yeah.
also go around and check
Yes,
for engagement in groups.
exactly,
That
exactly.
sounds wonderful. I look
Yeah,
forward to it.
that would be great. That'd be very helpful.
Thank you,
helpful.
Chris. I
Oh,
really
thank
enjoyed the question
you.
class today.
Yeah, thank you.